Welcome students. So we are going to start today the sixth chapter for our moral science, that is owning up responsibility. So in this chapter what we are going to study is that what is responsibility, how a person can own up responsibility, okay, and what are the term or what are the time where this responsibility is being owned by the person. Okay, so let's start here. So a story here you can see in the picture, a boy is been seen with some of the wolves. Okay, so let's start the story here. Long ago a boy was discovered in the company of wolves, okay, in the jungle, and he was walking on all fours and howled like a wolf. He lapped the water and ate like all animals do. What he was an infant, he was lost by his parent in the forest. He was found and nursed by a wolf. Since he was reared with wolf cubs for years, he developed habits and practices like an animal. Okay, so it is given that a story is there for a boy who has been lost by his parents in a very smaller age when he was infant only, and he was taken care by there in the jungle, thereby in the forest by the wolf pack. Okay, there the wolf pack has taken care of that boy, and they have reared him as their own wolf cub only. So as he has been with the wolf cubs for many of the years, so he has developed all the habits which the wolf cubs are following. Okay, so a human child learned to behave like a human being only because he is taught to behave as such. Human birth in itself does not assure cultivated or refined behavior. Young humans separated from mankind would only be able to start human civilization from scratch. So this particular story shows that it is not inbuilt or inhibited property or the inhibited behavior of a human child to behave as a human child on grown up. Okay, so as they will be taught, they will be behaving like that only as they have been taught out there. Human birth itself does not assure that every human child will behave as a human only. Okay, so young humans which are been separated from the mankind, they will have to start the human civilization from very scratch, means from very lower time. Okay, from very lower or starting point they have to start their human civilizations to read the behaviors and all these things. Animals on the other hand have their instinct to guide them. J. Rostand, a biologist, says young ants isolated from the anthill automatically produces a perfect anthill. The culture of ants is in the instinctive reflexes of each insects, and as such reflexes proceed from the chromosomes. Human culture is in libraries, museum, courts of law. So what is been saying out here is that the animals, okay, the animals are having the inhibited properties or the inhibited behavior, okay, for what they have to do. It is been shown out there. For example, it is been given out here, if an ant is been removed out from the family, okay, if an ant is been taken out from their family, so that particular ant can produce a perfect anthill by itself. It is not required there that they have to learn the method to prepare the anthill, because this particular culture of the ants that they have to prepare the anthill, it is present in their instinctive reflexes. Like that only the bees will be there. So if a bee is been separated from its pack, so what will happen? The bee which is separated, it will have the property to collect the honey. Okay, it can collect the honey by themselves. It is not necessary for them to to learn the way to collect the honey there. Okay, and while in the case of the human, this is not been present in the chromosomes. We have to learn by seeing our culture, by seeing our social life, by seeing others. Okay, we have to learn. This is in our method, and due to this reason, the human culture is been kept in libraries, museums, and code of law. What is the reason? The reason is that only that we have to learn there. By seeing the things we will learn. This is the human way of learning or acquiring the human culture. Man has to study and learn how to do things. He inherits all the past and has to use all of his he inherits all the past and has to use all his knowledge to build the future. He is responsible for his own behavior. He is the heir of a long history and can overlook or ignore if only at his own risk. Okay, so man has to learn all the things which he have to do in his life. Okay, he has to learn from the past, from the and he has to gain all the knowledge there. Okay, in order to build his future. He is responsible for his own behavior. He is the heir of a long history and can overlook or ignore it only at his own risk. Okay, he is heir of long history means he has to follow his history and he has to he has to follow that history, or if he overlooks there, or if he overlooks that particular history, then what will happen? Then the happening will be here is that there you will see that the behavior or something can be missed out there from the humans. If he does not learn from the lesson of history, he is bound to repeat the same mistakes as his ancestors committed. Okay, so the history is being taught and the wrong things which has been done by their ancestors has been taught to a human in order to make them understand that if they are committing that particular mistakes, then particular this kind of outcomes can be there. So in order to make them aware, they have been taught the wrong things which has been done in their history by their ancestors. If a man does not study, he does not learn. If man will not study, so he will not learn. It is through the study of acquired knowledge of the past that human beings learn to live in the present and plan for the future. Okay, so this is the man's requirement, that they have to study, they have to learn, and they have to gain by the study of the of the knowledge of the past, that human beings learn to live in the present and they will be planning for their future. Human destiny depends on how well man understand his culture. Okay, destiny means human's future, where the human will reach, what will be its destination. Okay, it is been depending on which kind of culture that man is undertaking. Okay, which kind of culture it is following. Human culture is something cultivated over the centuries. It takes very long times, very long centuries it takes in order to develop a culture there, and it needs to be studied and understood. And that particular culture, it needs to be studied and it needs to be understood, and it needs to be acquired also in the life of a human. We invent, discover, or make things on the basis of what we already know. The code of law have been formulated and followed by mankind for very long time experience of living. So it means the code of law which has been formulated out and followed by the mankind, they are coming from very long time experience of our ancestors, okay, who are living with others in the society, and they have given us this law of conduct or code of law in order to make our life more easier and more social. It is only through study that we learn and understand the culture of essence of human living. Okay, so we have to be in our process of regular study. all through the life we have to study. Something new will be there for us to learn, something new will be there for us to study. Okay, so we must be ready to study throughout our whole life and understand the culture and essence of human being. So for being a student, as you are a student now, one of the most disgusting thing is to be persuaded by the parents and the teachers to study. Okay, presently I know that when you are told by your parents or when you are told by your teachers that keep studying, it is very necessary for you, so it irritates you. Okay, but it is very important, for you to study, children, because this study only will emerge you as a good human and a better mankind. It is true that many a time parents, in their eagerness to help their children grow up into efficient human beings, sometimes overlook the natural talents and temperaments of their children. It happens sometimes. Okay, what happens? As the parents are having some eagerness for their child to be. Okay, for example, a doctor wants his child to also to be a doctor. Okay, army man wants his child to also be an army man. Okay, but in this eagerness, sometimes the parents can overlook the natural talent or the natural temperament of that particular child there. So it is true, but it is not the bad thing there, because the parent there is thinking for the good of that particular children. He wants his child to be a good, in a good position. When he has been grown up, he must be having his good livelihood. For that purpose, he is having that kind of thought in his mind. Okay. Today, a lot of unhealthy activities are done in the name of education. Children are mostly burdened with task of doing too many things too early in life, without caring for their mental and emotional development. Parents and school often stuff children with mere intellectual matters. Some parents drown their children in a flood of affection. Others suffocate their children without allowing them sufficient freedom to grow. Okay, so nowadays what happened? In the name of education, many unhealthy activities are going on. Many burdens for studying, writing, all these things have been given to the children, which does not help in the development of their intellectual matters. Okay, some parents also make their children emotionally affectionated towards some of the unwanted or unwilling types of which types of education or type of field which they are not willing to go. Okay, also some of them will seize their freedom. Okay, some of them will seize their freedom and they will ask them not to do such thing, not to do that thing. Okay, so there are also parents who give the children unnecessary and meaningless incentives also. Okay, some children are getting meaningless or unnecessary incentives also in order by the parents, in order to follow a particular culture, in order to follow a particular way of education. Other deprived them of because of the even the basic and natural encouragement and facilities are not are present there. Okay, so there it has been seen that very poor class, they are deprived of the education. They even don't have the good kind of primary education also. Okay, while some of the parents are giving their children from very primary from very small class level very good coaching, very good classes and all these things. Okay, but that is not equalizing the human culture. There we will see that the growth in a particular class, it will be very higher, and in a particular class they will be growing very lowly. Okay, the general tendency of the elders is to consider youngsters as immature and so not able to shoulder responsibilities for early in life. Children should be taught to handle responsibilities. Okay, so this thing has been seen that many of the elders think that the youngsters are immature and they are not able to shoulder the responsibilities. So what they do, they generally keep them deprived of any of the responsibilities from very early age. But it must not be done. From very early age in the life, the children must be taught how to handle responsibilities. Small responsibilities must be given to them in order to make them aware that how to handle the responsibilities, how they must bear the responsibilities in their life, which will make them able in the further part of their life that how they are responsible. Children learn mostly by imitation. Okay, generally children see by learning. Okay, learn by seeing how their parents or how their siblings, elder siblings, or how their relatives are behaving or having the culture, and that particular thing is been acquired by them. Okay, it means that they are learning by imitation only. They observe how their parents and teachers do, and they do likewise only. At a later stage, they made to see the reason behind their actions. Gradually, they grow into mature person who are able to own up responsibility for their action and for their life. So it is very important by the parents, by the teachers to behave in responsible way, as they are going to imitate their children's their students are going to imitate them only. Okay, and after seeing them only, they will be gradually going as a mature person, which will be making them able for the owning up responsibility in their further part of their lives. But why should a human being go to school or college or to study? What should he learn there? For a student, study in his or her vocation, he or she is called to do so. We are called to build up our society further. The existing structure is our patrimony. Okay, it is the patrimony, means parental kind of teaching we are giving. We must make our contribution to the world too and decay. The future of the country and the world is at large is being structured in the classrooms only. The type of teaching and the type of behavior which has been taught to a student in the classroom, that will only structure the future of the country, structure the future of the world. So study is an integral function of a human person in order to learn that how to really be a human. Otherwise, he will be relegated to live a mere animal life there. Okay, if he is not able to learn that how to live in the society, how to be social with other persons, so if he is not able to learn this thing, then no difference will be there between that particular human and a particular animal there. All of us are gifted with different talents and capabilities, and that too is varied proportions. Some are having a very good talent of being a good singer, some are having a very good talent to be a good painter, okay, or a good drawing maker or sketcher, okay, but some of them are having a very good property to become to be learning good or to be studying good, but they are not good in the drawing, or they are not good in the music or other talent. Okay, so we have all our strength as well as our weaknesses also. There are some of the strengths in them and some weakness in us. Unlike other animal species, human beings have the ability to convert their weakness also into their strength. If we practice more and more, if we study more and more, if we go on practicing that particular thing, then our weakness can be converted into a strength. Of course, we must accept that there are areas where we may not be talented at all, and no amount of pursuit will be enable us to excel in such area. Some areas are there in every human life which cannot be excelled up after a heavy practice also. It is not been there in their instinct part. Okay, so we have to find out that thing, that which kind of talent can be excelled up by us by practice, more and more practice and giving more time to them, and which are not. However, if we practice the art of studying effectively, those things we are talented in, we are sure to make progress in them. We ought to apply our minds properly and suitably in everything we do. By now, in your school life, you might already learn the techniques of studying effectively, as you are in class 10, So you are knowing very well that how to study and what are the different ways of study. The first and the foremost thing to do in order to learn things effectively is to cultivate the habit of listening. The art of listening includes paying full attention to what the other person says. Listening also means obeying. Okay, listening means also it means obeying. If your teacher, if your parents is saying something which is in the good for you, so you must obey that particular things. When your parents tell you listen to me, what he or she really wants to say is to obey me. Okay, that particular parents want you to obey you. So let this particular thing that the parents wants to make them to obey you, this must be followed by you, and it will help you in the further part of the learning process only, studying process only. Listening attentively help us concentrate on the subject matter of communication. It requires from our part a certain receptivity and willingness to accept what the other says or communicates. It again implies that we are prepared to change our ideas, attitudes, and behavior patterns as required. If you are having the property of listening, if you know the property of listening, then it is there that you will be having the eagerness that you are prepared to change your idea, your attitude, behaviors as well. And overall openness to learn with the intention of applying the lessons into practical life is a precondition for any kind of educational pursuit. So it is a very, very important thing that to listen in order to attain knowledge, in order to practice. Okay, it is very, very necessary to listen. If you are not having this property of listening, then it is not possible for you to study. Another important tip to study well is to master the art of reading. You must have the art of reading. Okay, try to improve your reading speed. That is, read faster but without losing the concentration and without acquiring the meaning. Reading is a skill that improves with practice. More and more practice will make your reading more efficient. Plan your study. If you plan your study properly, you save time and develop a confidence that things are under control. When you have a plan, you are able to check your progress periodically so that you know where you are. It avoids last moment tensions and troubles. So do not accumulate any study matters till the end. Do the work in that particular way, do the work in that particular time only. Okay, procrastination in matter of study is very dangerous. It is very, very dangerous. Okay, because as the work is been accumulated out there, it will cause a very, very great pile up of the work, and that particular pile up of the work will not be good for you. Be punctual and up to date in all that you have to do. Okay, and be trying to be in the good way where you are there. As a student, you must take up your duty of learning honestly and sincerely. Okay, no kind of laziness and no kind of unresponsibilityness must be there when you are doing your duty of the learning. You have a great responsibility at your hand. You are going to nourish your family, you are going to nourish the future of the country and the future of your society. Okay, so keep this in your mind that you are having this particular responsibility. Your studies should take you to a point of awareness which will enable you to gain new insight. Okay, so as you are studying, as you study more, it will make you aware of the things which you will be gain in the new insight. You must go beyond the surface of meaning of things. All the subjects you study must help you foster in your noble thoughts, values and attitudes. Our minds and hearts must expand and enlarge so as to reach out to larger and more enriching values. Our studies should enable us to break the narrow interest and petty barriers that isolate us from the vast realm of knowledge and wisdom. Our learning must liberate us, and it should be used to liberate and enlighten others also. So we must learn in such a way that it must not harm anyone. It must help any other person or for self also to grow, to develop in the life. Okay, such the study or the learning must be in such a way that it will increase the realm of our knowledge. Realm means the reach of our knowledge, the reach of our wisdom, not to suppress them, not to make their area more limited. Okay, we must study in order to liberate us. Liberate us means to make our mind more free, not in a bad way but in a good way. Okay, and to help others also to make their mind free by giving by sharing our knowledge with them, by sharing our wisdom with them, because wisdom and knowledge increases with sharing, they does not decrease. Real liberation comes when we make ourselves capable of shouldering responsibility. The main thing is that we will be able to find out the liberation, real liberation, when we are capable of shouldering the responsibility from ourselves. When we were small children, our parents took responsibility for us, for feeding us, for clothing us. They got us admitted in school, they chose as the best. They told us then when to study, what to study and how to study. In a way, at that time, it was all their responsibilities. So presently, our responsibility, your responsibility as a student is that you have to study, you have to learn in a manner that will help you grow in a very, very good manner, which will make you a responsible person in your future. Okay, this is your particular responsibility at now. Now you are grown-up peoples. You are a teenager. You are grown up people. After some time you will be adult. Soon you will be expected to choose your own lifeline and line of studies, depending on what career you would like to select. Your parents and teachers will be there by your side to guide you, but they will be only a guide for you. The main decision has to be taken by you. The main effort has to be given by you only. They can't study in your place, they can't give the examinations in your place. Okay, but the great responsibility of choosing your future course of life is mostly on you. That is what your parents and teachers have been training you till now. Okay, this is the main thing. Your parents, your teachers are taughting you presently, teaching you presently. You have to own up responsibility from your own life. Gradually the society will entrust you, then only the society will entrust you and give you some certain responsibilities. The purpose of your study was to make you less independent and less dependent and more independent. The main the main motive of making you study, to make you learn, is that you must be more independent, not dependent on anyone for your needs in the further life or for your future. So study further, better, you will learn to be a more responsible and independent person. So children, thank you for listening this particular chapter. So this chapter has been completed. I will be giving you the PDF notes for this particular chapter, and the chapter 6 and the chapter 7 will be there for you as the next course. So thank you. We will meet up in the next class.